Hello everyone. The topic of this presentation is all about non-digital or conventional technology tools for teaching and learning. Teaching becomes rewarding when learners get the most from instructions as manifested in their performance. And important in engaging learners is when the strategy used in delivering the lessons uses an instructional material. When properly and appropriately used, it can spice up a classroom activity. These instructional materials may come in varied forms. One group refers to the conventional and non-digital tools. And that is our topic. As you can see in the picture, it shows the difference between non-digital tools and digital tools. But for this presentation, we are going to focus on the non-digital or conventional tools. So what is non-digital? When we say non-digital, it is not relating to or using computers, internet, or other digital technology. So meaning, those are materials or things that can be used without the help of computers, internet, or other digital technology. So, what is non-digital or conventional technology tools for teaching and learning? So, it refers to the teaching using chalk and board for teachers, pen and paper for students. Rather, the teacher uses other methods such as demonstration, using examples, lecture methods, question and answer methods, among others. This is also the use of instructional materials used by teachers to enhance teaching, promotes meaningful communication and effective learning. So non-digital or conventional technology will help the teacher to enhance their teaching strategy, promotes meaningful communication, and makes their lesson more effective and innovative. So instructional materials. When we say instructional materials, those are supplementary materials which help the teacher to make his or her presentation concrete, effective, interesting, meaningful, and aspiring. Instructional materials are great help in stimulating and facilitating the learning of learners. So according to Wright 1976 1, as cited in Cocker 2006, many media and many styles of visual presentations are useful to the language learner. All video-visual materials have positive contributions to language learning as long as they are used at the right time and in the right place. In the teaching and learning process, learners use their eyes as well as their ears, but their eyes are basic in learning. So, it's because learners or students learn more when they say something that is easy to recall and eye-catching. Next, we have examples of non-digital or conventional technology tools for teaching and learning. First, we have writing board. So a writing board can display information written with chalk for chalkboard or blackboard, or special pens for whiteboard. Although there are usually more effective methods of transmitting information, but the writing board is still the most commonly used visual aid. So a writing board is an important teaching aid because it is a mirror which students visualize the teacher's mind. Example, the way of explaining, illustrating, and teaching as a whole. Thus, it stands as a visual testimony of a teacher's work and impression. Because of this, students learn better and remember more by using writing board. Next, we have diorama. Diorama are small scenes created of layers of materials, all depicting a similar concept or theme. They are usually display a historical time, period, a nature, or a fictional situation. And diorama will make the classroom creative and innovative. It is a fun way to build an exciting scene in a small space. So diorama, as you can see in the given example, diorama is a three-dimensional scene created to illustrate an academic subject, a plot of a story, or an event in history. It can be used throughout all levels of education, and it can also be used in real-world setting as a problem solvers. Overall, diorama is fun. The next example is the nature table. So, this is a table that contains objects and or scenes related to the current season or upcoming festival or a symbol of an ecosystem. So, a nature table is an attractive arrangement of plants, insects, animals, or any items found in nature that are safe for children to touch or play. And also, it can help to the children to find greater connection with the world that surrounds them and create sensory experience for the child. Next example is a flip chart. A flip chart is a collection of large pages which are bound together at the top. It is a large table or pad paper usually on tripod or a stand. As you can see at the right side, there is an example of a flip chart. If you still remember during our elementary days, our teacher uses a manila paper and it is bounded by a wood stick to make it a flip chart. So, flip chart are useful teaching aid because this is the common use of teachers when they try to teach students, especially in reading. This kind of non-digital tools is more intimate and interactive because it allows learners to come to read the words written in the chart. This become more engaging in reading comprehension. Aside from that, it can be draws student attention to listen to teachers attentively. If the teacher is done with his or her topic, she or he will just flip another page for another lesson to focus. And also, flip chart are the most versatile tool readily available for teaching, learning, and assessment. Next example is zigzag board. So a zigzag board is a multi-board series of 3 or 4 rectangular boards. They are joined together along the side by hinges so that they can be easily folded up and carried away. So at the right side, you can see the example of zigzag board. So each part of the board can be used for different teaching purposes depending on the needs of learners or students. It is the most useful for teaching young children, and secondary school teachers and development workers will also find it useful for display purposes. Zigzag board, teachers may use this for displaying pictures, for example in history subjects, like displaying the 7 continents of the world and etc. You can stand it at the floor or table with each board at angle to the next so that they are both stable and eye-catching. You could also place it at the corner of the classroom so that during the free time of the students, they can easily look at it. Next example is board display or wall display. So, it is a collection of items and materials put up on a wall to make an interesting, informative display. So, this board is the most commonly used in our classroom for informative display purposes. Example, the content of a subject like mathematics. So, it displays solving in science. It displays experiments, and also it displays students' own work, achievement, tasks, and the development work it can use to convey information in the classroom. So our last example is rope and pole display board. This board consists of 2 parallel horizontal poles tied loosely together with rope. Visual aids such as posters can be pinned to the rope. So this tool is used for training sessions or workshop. For an instance, the teacher is not around. So this tool was already displayed in the corner of this classroom so that the students will see it and learn even without the guidance of a teacher. And putting pictures or anything that helps students to learn using this board, example, letter of an alphabet from A to Z or others. And now let's go on to the guidelines in the construction and development of conventional instructional materials. So we have 5 guidelines which are unity, simplicity, legibility, consistency, and clarity. So first is unity. Use only one idea for each visual aid, including a headline. In making non-digital or conventional instructional materials, we should only use one idea so that the students or learners won't be confused. And the headline should be based on what topic or the information under to it. And next, we have simplicity. Make ideas and relationships simply and easy to recall. So in making instructional materials, it should always be comes with simplicity. And the topic should be easily for the learners to recall so that if you're going to ask them after the discussion, they can recall it directly and avoid cluttering a visual with too many words, numbers, or graphics. The audience should be able to grasp the concept in 10 to 15 seconds. And next, we have legibility. Make letters big and readable for all audience. So this is important also because there are some students that are sitting at the back. So when making instructional materials, make sure that all learners will clearly see it. So next is consistency. Use the same type, style, and art style. So in making conventional instructional support materials, do not use different style of your writing. Be consistent as always. Kung sa gigamit nimo nga writing or art style sa permero, dapat hangtod sa mahuman katurasab. Dili kay sa permero lang maayo, sa permero lang nindot, sa permero ra masabtan. Dapat until the end, consistent or masabtan gyud. Dili na usab-usabon kay it will make learners confused. And last is clarity. Avoid type that is too small to read and avoid also all caps. So in writing instructional support materials, you should avoid writing it too small. Because as what I have said a while ago, those students nga nasa likod sa classroom gaingkod, dili na maklaro nila if it is too small. So dapat sakto lang nga makita sa tanan. And now our last topic for this presentation is non-digital or conventional instructional materials, several rules in teaching and learning. First, we have they promote meaningful communication and effective learning. Second, they ensure better retention, thus making learning more permanent. Third, they help to overcome the limited classroom by making the inaccessible accessible. Fourth, they provide a common experience upon which late learning can be developed. And last, they encourage participation, especially if students are allowed to manipulate materials used. That was according to Brown et al. 2005, Ifyong and Egery 2015. So, ang rule sa instructional materials or non-digital or conventional instructional materials is to make the lessons more effective and permanent. And they also provide experience that can be developed and encourage participation of students if they are allowed to use or manipulate the materials. So that's all. Thank you, and I hope you have so much knowledge learned from this presentation.